All right, one of the things that has come out of UFC 299 was with a win over Benoit Saint Denis. Dustin Poirier has basically put himself in a position to fight the champion Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title. And I hear a lot of people complaining about this, saying, no, that's not fair because Justin Gaethje beat Dustin Poirier for the BMF title and he should be the guy getting the next thing. But Josh, timing sometimes is everything. And Justin Gaethje has a fight coming up at UFC 300 in April against a guy that is no one to look past in Max Holloway. And we know that Justin Gaethje normally doesn't just jump right back into another fight. He likes to take time off. He likes to get himself, straight, and then he likes to get himself back into another camp. That doesn't work in the time for the champ in Makhachev. I look at this and it makes total sense to me. I don't see a problem with Dustin Poirier getting a shot against Islam in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, let's not put the egg before the chicken or the chicken before the egg. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to happen here, right? That's really what it comes down to. Dustin Poirier is ready to fight. He'll be ready to fight by June. Islam coming off of Ramadan should be ready to jump into camp and get ready to fight by June as well. I mean, you've got Justin Gaethje fighting Max. You don't know what's going to happen in that fight. He could win and come out unscathed, or he could end up going the distance and come out banged up. He could end up losing. That ruins that. Go. There's a lot of things that could happen in that fight. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Also, no matter how that fight goes, like you said, he likes to take some time off, let his brain heal, let his body heal, let himself get settled back in, get ready to make that one last title run. He has said multiple times, I'm going to try and do it one more time. Justin Gaethje has. Yeah. Dustin Poirier hasn't said that. He's basically said, I'm in it right now. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I've said this before. He's got 2 more good title runs left in him. We saw it the other night, how great he looked. He took some shots. He was able to weather the storm, put the shots on him. Now, everyone keeps talking about Saint Denis being on antibiotics. I understand that. I've fought on antibiotics. I've trained with antibiotics in my system. I understand what you're talking about. But he came out and did what he could to get the fight over and done with in the first round. Take a look at Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman. That fight was exactly the same way. Luke got it done. He was on antibiotics the whole week. His foot flared up. That week when he landed right in Vegas for that fight, his foot flared up. I was there for that whole situation. He found ways to win. He didn't fight reckless and careless. He dominated the top position. In this position here, Dustin fought the right fight. Fought conservative, let the fight come to him, was able to land the bigger, cleaner shots, didn't waste a lot of energy. Fought a great fight.
Oh, those guillotines were no energy at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was chasing a butt.
Maybe just a little
bit. It was a lot of energy, but what does that do if they're in tight enough? It sucks the wind out of your opponent. Yeah, and so it goes both ways. Yes, it goes both ways. If they're deep, if they're not deep and the guy's just hanging out, then there's a different story. But 2 of them looked pretty damn deep and trying to push his head out. Yeah. But like you said, to start this whole thing off, timing's everything. And when we're talking about the timing of the situation is Poirier will be ready for June. Islam will be back after Ramadan, ready in a full camp by June, ready to go by June. And he's made it very clear. One thing, the difference between him and Khabib is that Khabib is like, he wanted to fight more often, but he also had to keep it under control in terms of, look, I understand where I'm at with my weight wise. I understand when I go back home, I spend time with my family. He scheduled his fights accordingly. Islam is very, very active. His Umar tried to be as active as he possibly can. Usman, Umar's brother, trying to be as active as they can. They are a different type of fighter. There's somebody that wants to come in. Now that he's champion, he understands he's making championship money. He wants to fight as many as he can. Line them up. Right now, you got Dustin in June. You got Gaethje or Max Holloway maybe right after that. Whoever wins that fight, probably fight them sometime around September or October in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or wherever the fights may be. He'll want to fight in this schedule. He's trying to fight 3 times a year. After I've been talking, or I've said to talk to him through messaging, and he's sent me recordings basically saying like he's trying to be as active as he possibly can. He has a plan. He wants to clear out his own division before going up to 170. And I think he will. It's going to be some tough battles for him. These guys are all tough. They're dangerous. You got Justin, you got Dustin. Can you pull up the lightweight rankings? Who else right now? You got Charles if he beats.
You got Sarukian.
You got Sarukian. If Charles beats Sarukian, then you got Charles again probably in that mix. Or if Sarukian comes in, you got Sarukian again. But a different Sarukian makes for a very fun fight. The power's there. The wrestling's there. The ability to scramble. All of those things are there. But where in there do you say, hey, okay, how many more of these guys I got to beat? Because we talked about this with Khabib. They always want you to come back for one more. There's one more guy for you to beat. How many are there? So you've got Justin, you got Dustin, you've got, Sarukian. You've already beat Charles. Do you fight him again? Do you not fight him again? Do you jump to Leon if it is Charles? If I pull up the lightweight rankings there, I don't see a challenge with Gamrot. I don't see a challenge with Chandler. You really got Dustin, Justin, and I think Sarukian if Sarukian gets past Oliveira. Those are your three guys. He clears out those three guys. Time to move on. Yeah? No?
Makes sense.
Sense?
No, absolutely makes sense.
But the thing is,
you don't have to beat everybody in the division, but you have to beat the guys that you look that, hey, that guy's got a shot.
Yeah.
That guy's someone that, he brings something to that fight where you could say, I could see him winning.
I would have thrown Gamrot in there because he's got to win over Sarukian. I would have thrown him in there, but after last week's performance against RDA, he's not ready.
No.
He needs a little bit more. He needs a little bit more out of it. Sarukian keeps looking. He looks really good. He continues to look really good. We're going to see how he looks against someone like a Charles Oliveira, though.
Yeah, you're going to see exactly where he's at. Look, his last fight, look at what he did. Yeah. Beautiful power, put his opponent away fast. But we'll see what happens in the Oliveira fight, because you don't just walk past Charles Oliveira like, oh, that's going to be an easy fight.
No, you don't. But then, John, also the going up to 170 is only enticing if it's Leon Edwards. Because fighting a Bilal Muhammad managed by the same guys, probably not going to happen.
You're right. I don't see that.
Kamaru Usman managed by the same guys, probably not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Shavkat maybe could happen, but then you look at the size, you look at all those things, you're thinking to yourself, maybe I'll just stay at 55, collect my checks. I mean, it's true. Like right now, Islam is tall. He's kind of rangy. He's got southpaw stance, good head kicks, got good boxing, great on the ground, good wrestling, submissions, all those things. But stylistically, Shavkat's a bad matchup for him. A little bit more athletic, a little bit longer in range.
It's a tough matchup for him.
Yeah, I shouldn't say bad. You are correct. Bad. It is a tough matchup, a really tough matchup. And not that Leon's not, but you've got a guy he's got good wrestling, he's got good takedown defense, plus good takedowns, as he showed against Kamaru Usman. But he's also got good grappling, as he showed against Gunnar Nelson. He's got a full rounded game, man. He's become a world class fighter. But that's the fight, if you're looking for the two of them, for Islam to jump, it's the Leon Edwards fight that you would probably say, hey, this is the guy that we want to fight. How long will Leon be there? Does Shavkat get him? If Shavkat doesn't get him, does MVP get him? If he doesn't get him, does Jack Della Maddalena get him? There's guys for Leon to fight. And Leon's not talking about going to 85.
No, it should not. But you can take a look at all of it. And when all of this comes down, a lot of people are going to talk about, well, the rankings, why does the UFC not follow? The UFC at times follows rankings and at times says, screw the rankings. What's the money fight? What's the best fight? Or what's the fight that we can put on right now based upon timing? And right now the timing is working for Dustin Poirier.
Well, yeah, let me put my promoter hat on, right? Like people were talking right now about Ilia Topuria and Sean O'Malley. That is a huge money fight. I get the money fight in Spain, in the soccer arena, all the big time money, but they've got people in their division to beat.
Oh, come on. I've got one title defense between the two of them.
And when the two of them end up wiping out their divisions, can you imagine how much bigger that fight will be?
That's exactly the point.
But they've got to do it. And then sometimes promoters, because when I put my promoter hat on, I'm sitting here telling you, sometimes it doesn't get to that level. And that's when you lose that fight. Remember when Scott Coker had put on the tournaments, he'd say, and we were talking about Yoel Romero versus, who was it? Well, I think
Rumble Johnson.
Yeah, it was Anthony Rumble. So it was Rumble and Yoel in the first round. Everyone's like, why would you do that? because there's no guarantees you're going to get that fight later on down the line.
And that fight didn't even
happen. Yeah. But there's, so that's why you put those fights together early on. As a promoter, you're like, let's put it on now so we don't miss it. But when they're both your champions, you may potentially end up risking losing one of your stars right off the bat. So let's build it up a little bit. Let's get that going. Because if I have them fight.
But sometimes when you try to make that build up towards we'll build it to that point, like you said, sometimes you can never get it there.
Well, fingers crossed we see Islam versus Leon Edwards. Fingers crossed. But overall, they've got they both have people to beat in their divisions. Plenty of them, at least 3 of them. You've got Leon with Bilal, Shavkat, and I'm going to go down to maybe even Jack Della Maddalena. I would maybe even go as far as say Ian Gary. He's got a little bit ways to go, but there's 4 people right there. And with Islam, you've got Justin, Dustin, Armand, and maybe Charles again. So there's at least 3 or 4 there. So you got plenty of fights to happen in the division. And like I said, Islam's made it very clear he wants to stay active and busy. And within a year and a half, he'll be hopefully through the division and moving on to something else. We're going to find out, though. Only time will tell.